Welcome to the Survivor. I don't know what CBS has labeled it because I think they only labeled the 2 hours episode as one. But on my podcast, this is covering Survivor episode 12, The Loved Ones Visits and Gabby's Boot. And then episode 13, The Christian Going Home, whether he knew and understood and was just tired of playing or whether he got booted out. We'll take you to the other correspondent, Jody.
Which is rough tonight, y'all. This is dedication to the Survivor podcast, but I'm sad. My boy Christian. We'll get to that. But we're here. Thanks for joining.
First, we go to the episode 2 weeks ago. The loved one visit and Gabby's getting voted off because she tried to make a move. The first thing I'm going to say from my perspective, which is, of course, the greatest perspective ever. That's why Alec is not playing anymore, and I picked him to win. That's why Dr. Allison is fading into the sun like the bright star she is and probably will not win. But anyway, from my perspective, Nick came in after the Carl blindside and was hot. He was mad at Christian. It was time for Christian to go. Angelina was just kind of in space, but she was there, living life knowing that it wasn't going to be her. Davey was a little more level-headed, but they talk a little bit. It was mainly Nick talking after the tribal when we first get there. Okay, so Jody, do you have anything to add to the beginning of the episode?
Wasn't Nick really mad?
Yes.
Yeah. That's
at Christian.
Yeah.
Which is why Christian is no longer in the game.
Right.
Well, so basically the reason Nick's main gripe was they had used idols and advantages and set up to keep Christian around. And then he got booted out. So that's why Nick was upset. We get to the reward challenge, loved one visits. So, like I said, I love watching this episode, except for the fact that it was mainly seemed like parents, stuff like that. Now, let's see. Allison had her. Who came for Allison?
Her brother?
Her mom? I cannot remember who came for Allison, but it was not a loved one. Okay, then we get to Kara, and once again, I cannot remember.
That was her brother.
It was Kara's brother, apparently, yes.
So.
Wasn't very emotional. We get to Nick. Golly, I'm drawing a complete blank on all these now. This was one of the worst loved one visits ever, by the way, Survivor.
It really was. And I had a point about that when I was watching it. I was like, oh, I can't wait to ask Andy. But I don't remember what. Oh, maybe it was like nobody was married. Is that right?
No, Angelina's married, but it was her. I do know it's Angelina's mom because Angelina's married to a Marine. It's a big deal. She's talked about it. And I was like, I thought that's what we were going to see. He may be deployed. He may be on duty and couldn't have come. Gotcha. But anyway, Angelina's mom come, and that was that. Now, we did get Gabby's mom. I thought was a little interesting. And then Christian's girlfriend came.
Which is the weirdest thing ever.
So,
and
yeah, what
they
do you have
tried
to
to
say?
make it out to, like, I don't know. They just kept showing Gabby. So they try to make it this whole jealousy thing, but I don't think it's that. But
Jody doesn't think Gabby is completely in love with Christian, and that it was not that. But anyway, Christian, he didn't get emotional when his girlfriend first came out. He got emotional when Jeff said, "You've got to separate now."
Mm-hmm.
Now, and this was another thing, and this is why I think this was not a great loved one visit. The main thing, I don't think they've ever done, they've made the loved one compete with the person before, but they randomly paired them off like they drew rocks or numbers or whatever. They randomly paired them off, and that's how this competition went. I really find it hard to find a Survivor time to where the loved one visit was two survivors together.
Yes. Yeah, I don't ever remember that.
And so, since that took place, it was just kind of random. I thought that I really didn't feel there was no great moment on a beach to where it's just like, oh man, these people have been separated and you can feel it through the TV. So I think it kind of fell flat. I hope Survivor doesn't do away with it. You've just got to get better people that have better loved ones, I guess, as
Well,
good as this cast has been.
there were better emotional reactions to the letters than there were the actual people, which I was like, what? So, yeah, I agree with you. That was really weird.
Well, see, like one of the letters I know we had was Christian's dad,
Yeah.
and I know someone's dad was out there. I can't remember who, but it's just things. It just didn't hit me like it normally does.
Right.
Don't get me wrong; it was still good, but it wasn't. We didn't have a Troy Zan speaking about his wife taking
Yeah.
steps in the stands that would be there, and then we didn't have like someone who is just. And I hate to use this one as an example. The lady, and she's gonna kill me if she ever sees me, and I know I'm close to Utah now. The lady that lost her teeth in the season Cochran won. I can't think of her name. Dawn.
Oh,
Dawn's loved one visit when her husband came,
oh
and
yeah.
then when she was picked to go, and then the other thing got turned around, and it was like, hey, you can let all the other five have loved ones, and you and Dawn don't get anything. And so it was sacrificed, and Dawn just like was complete mess. Like we didn't have any of those complete reactions on this season.
No. Mm-mm.
So it is what it is, and life goes on. But with that being said, Angelina had never won a reward challenge individually or anything like that since the merge.
You
And
don't
then
say.
she gets Nick as a teammate and carries Nick to victory in the challenge. And they win. Once they won, they pick Davey and Mike. And Mike did have his lover there that I think he said he'd been with for a few years. But once again, I just didn't feel an emotional response on that.
No, me either.
So they go on and they talk about, oh, this is the group right here. This is the group, you know. That's what everyone always says when they win.
Everybody. Yeah.
Now, for the record, I think all four of them are still in the game. So,
I mean,
uh, though they might not all vote alike. Um, well, we get to the reward challenge, and it is holding a pole above your head. I think they're standing on some perch or something like that. It would be tiring, I'm not going to lie. But at one point, Christian seems like he's going strong and then just drops out of nowhere.
right. Which I felt that Christian, in a way, I don't know, you just didn't hear a lot of him that that episode like you normally do. And it seemed like he kind of gave up a little bit. I mean, I was a little hurt by him. Are you there, Andy? I was a little hurt by him not like by him leaving the game. But I don't know. It was just kind of like he was either tired or I mean, there's no doubt that it's a physical struggle out there. So I don't know. In a way, I just felt like he kind of gave up, but that's just me.
Okay, so with Jody, I'm going to, like, I know she's sad about this, so I'm going to help her out. Once again, we see a very small portion of what actually occurs.
That's very true.
And what I believe happened is the edit sometimes that the producers give us, it's obvious they've done such a better job as of later years because it used to be, oh, this person we haven't seen in the first three episodes is now getting a lot of screen time and they've got some great plan and then they get voted out.
Right.
So the editors sometimes throw us for a loop, and I feel like they did that on this one to where they did not allow us to know that Christian was going to go home. by not giving him
I could see
substantial
that.
screen time.
I could see that. Yeah.
They only gave him screen time at the challenge, on the reward and the immunity, and then a very small portion of what he believed was going to occur at Tribal based on conversations with Davey and Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was no conversation with him and Dr. Allie. There was no conversation with him and Kara or him and Angelina.
That's true.
So that's where I'm going to shoot with this a little bit. And um, so it is what it is. Did we even get to the Gabby vote out, or did we skip over that?
We actually skipped over it on
Okay.
accident.
So here's what happened. Gabby gets voted out. Gabby comes back from the. Okay, first off, new Survivor. If you are playing Survivor out there, you need to understand, or if you're watching Survivor, everyone wants to make big, flashy moves and do things. If you make at the reward challenge an idea saying, hey, let's vote out so and so this time, and then you sit around for a day or two, that gets stale and it becomes predictable and it's going to get passed around. So, literally, the closer to Tribal you are to make a plan, unless you are just dominating the game, which has not happened in a while, you need to wait till later on after the immunity challenge to make a plan. Because this season has shown it. It's happened in other seasons too. But don't get over anxious on stuff. Gabby made a plan after the reward challenge. It sat around. It was going to work. The problem is loose lips sink ships, and Christian got word of it and thought he was possibly a threat and played his idol. So Gabby went home because the other people realized, okay, Christian thinks that we are possibly going to vote him out. So let's get rid of his number one ally. So they played Gabby for a fool. Basically, if Christian played his idol, she went home. If he didn't, he went home. So they were in a win-win on that based on how long they had to anticipate what to do.
Right.
Now, we moved on to the next episode. Gabby's out. Christian's idol-less. Some people think Nick has two idols based on he rolls up parchment and how horrible the idols have been. That it's like, if you find a string with a shell on it, it's an idol at this point. And so they think he has two idols, which is what's going to bring us to this episode. The easy vote out is Christian. The easy vote out is Christian. But there are so many other things in effect here. When someone has two idols and you're down to 6 people or even 7, you're running out of time to get them out because they can go idol. They're in the final 4.
Right.
And that was the problem I think Davey saw with Nick, is that if we don't get him at 7, he's going to play one at 6 and play one at 5, and he's in the final 4. So it is, let's try and get him out now.
Well, he wasted it.
Well, see, that was the beautiful thing. I liked at this tribal council, Davey had to play the idol.
He had to.
So when Davey played the idol, it made Nick nervous, and it made Nick play his idol. Nick did the fake one at first and was looking for reactions and really didn't get anything.
Which was so smart.
Well, it didn't get anything, though, and that should have told him, oh, they're not voting for me. Because usually if someone plays an idol, someone will make a big expression or be like, oh, dang, and no one did anything because they're like, what just happened? Like,
right.
Why did he play an idol? So it kind of hurt Nick and helped him. But anyway, now at this moment, we have no idols in the game. I bet they have to bring something in with 6 people left. But as much as we've had this season, or as much as been played properly this season and executed well on idols and advantages, they may not. But we'll see. So I think Davey did a good thing by playing his, because you might force out another idol. I'm just saying, it's kind of smart.
If you were Davey, would you have taken chances and broke some of those urns?
I'm trying to think. The idol. He wasn't going to lose the idol, but he'd lose a vote. He wanted to get Nick out, so he could not chance losing his vote at that one. That
Right.
was what he. That's how he waited. So it would just depend on your options. The where he was at with his position, no, I wouldn't have smashed any urns. If there was like just a strong group or contingency, and I wasn't feeling like I needed to try and get someone out, then yes, maybe I would have. Or if they'd have had that idol earlier in the season, to where it wouldn't have been, such a big deal to lose a vote.
Right.
Um, so it's kind of whatever on that. It just depends on how you feel. I think he did right for his situation. Um, I'm trying to think of how I want to say this. So they, after the immunity challenge, I'm kind of going to skip over the reward because it didn't seem. Do you have any thoughts on the reward?
I
It just
don't.
didn't seem very big in this episode. Um, we get to the immunity challenge, and it is a tough one that you could duplicate this one at your home if you build a perch and you have a platform and have the balls on it. I'm not saying you could get it exactly how they have it. I'm sure if you looked it up, the specs are online somewhere. But you could do this challenge at your house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Kara is always going to dominate stuff where you have to balance or like
but
balance something. Like she's a beast at those.
did she win the last one?
I think so.
She won the one before. Mike won this one.
Are you sure?
Yes. Kara won the one where they were holding the pole above their head. She beat out Davy. And then this one, Mike won. That's why
Oh yeah,
Mike
you're right.
and
But it was between
Mike and
Kara and Mike.
Alice, Mike and Allison.
Okay.
Jody's getting upset with me right now.
No.
I can't go with her on the internet. Sorry. Um, it was Mike and Dr. Allie. Uh, and that's the thing. Allison seems to always be in second place. Uh, Mike won. Um, so they're at this challenge, and it's keep the balls from rolling off. And part of it is luck. You're standing on a perch, so your legs are going to be shaking and get tired. The wind blows, and whatever happens, happens. Once they start adding multiple balls to it, you also have to be able to balance it to where you don't tip over one side net because they start, for some reason, they always roll in different directions. Um, but the way the challenge was going, it seemed like that Christian it's not that I feel like he ran out of gas because when he dropped out, it was just like, boom, it happened out of nowhere.
Yep.
Well, I know, and Jody said she just talked about this. What the earlier part was that he seemed tired or fatigued, and maybe he gave up. I don't think he gave up. I think he just ran out of gas, and it happens. And it's like if you can. The thing what I think about Survivor is if you can physically push yourself to your physical limits and pass out, we will always see that on TV. What we won't see a lot of times is how close these people are to passing out and stuff, and that maybe when they're off to the side, the doctor's looking at them, or after the challenge, they have a doctor look at them. I don't know if anyone noticed this, but Dr. Allie had like some kind of cut on her foot, and she had like pink bandages on one of her toes.
Yeah.
There's stuff we don't see, and I'm not saying I'm not like everyone else. Oh, they give them food on the side, but no, they do take medical care of them, and we don't see every time they put a bandage over a cut or have it wrapped or something like that.
Right.
But I just felt like Christian was at the end of his ropes, Now, also, we get done with that. Mike has immunity, so now he can do whatever he wants. And he's got the most power he's had, and he's excited about it.
It was his first immunity challenge to win.
Yes, but he was excited because now he could vote any way he wanted, and it didn't matter. So I was excited for Mike too, that he felt like he got to play the game how he wanted to. Now, where it gets a little tricky and counterproductive is Mike wants Christian out no matter what. There's a group of them that's like, oh, let's just get rid of Dr. Allison. And they were okay with it. Mike wants Christian out no matter what. And then there's Davey, who's like, let's get Nick out. So Christian,
I was nervous. I didn't know who was going home. I really didn't.
I don't think we did either, partly because of how the producers had edited the episode that we got to see, because they didn't give Christian a lot of camera time. I don't think anyone thought Davey was actually going to get votes. I thought most people, from going into it, I figured it was going to be Allison or Christian. I didn't think the Nick plan had any teeth to it, and it really didn't, because Mike ended up swaying people better than Davey did. But we saw Christian talk to Nick, and this is where Survivor gets difficult, is someone you've worked with a lot, you had an alliance, you've betrayed, they've betrayed you, and you're like, hey, let's work together. And they can look you in the face as sincere as can be and be like, yeah, we're good. I got your back.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt like Christian was like, I think he knew there was a chance it was him, but I think he's like, okay, Nick's forgiven me. Angelina, I think he thought was with him. And I think he thought that Davey was also probably going to vote the same as he did and vote Allison out. And so that was 4, and that would have been enough. Now, what keeps surprising me is Kara keeps talking about how her and Allison are allies. And everyone keeps telling Kara they're going to vote Allison out. So I just don't see, either Kara is a great secret of no one knows her and Allison are friends and playing together, or everyone's just stupid on that. I'm serious. Like, everyone always says, hey, we're going to vote Allison out. And Kara's like, why do they keep telling me they're going to vote Allison out? Is that not what happens like almost the last 4 or 5 episodes?
Yes, almost every time.
Um,
So she keeps sliding under the radar. There's a few people that just keep sliding under the radar that I'm like, how do y'all not see this? I just don't. Kara's one of them.
Don't worry, I'm about to give you a lot of props as soon as we get past this vote and get
Mike's
to the final thoughts. So we get up there, and it's like, okay, right towards the end, Mike's like, hey, I think you 3 should vote Christian. And I think he thought they were going to vote Allison or whatever. Mm-hmm. But anyway, it ends up being 3 people gets voted. Allison has 2 votes. Davey has 2 votes. And Christian has 3 votes. And Christian went home. So I felt like that's pretty much it. Do you have any? It was Mike. It would seem like Mike's playing. Do you have any thoughts on it?
No, I don't.
No. Okay. Sorry.
It's all good.
Well, now we're going to give credit to Jody, and since she wants to be on camera so bad, I'll let y'all take a look. Okay. I'm just going to say, Jody has sat here and talked about people slipping under the radar, and guess what happened? Here Mike is in prime position as he slid through so far. So be it.
Yeah, well, if he wins the game, I'm going to, know why. Because what was it that he, masterminded and, stirred up a whole bunch of stuff And then nobody, not once, was like, we need to take Mike out. It was something with, it was very early on. And I told you, I was like, he's sliding under the radar, and I don't understand why nobody is even on his case about any of it. But
No,
he has a
yeah.
way of stirring things up. And then I don't know if behind the scenes he's like buddy buddy with a lot of these people. Like, I don't know how it works. Like, I don't know what he does, but it's genius. I don't know. I don't know. But he keeps sliding under the radar, and like I said, if he wins, I'll I mean, props to him. So,
Well,
I
so
know your thoughts on that.
no, I'm saying good job. You said this like 2 or 3
I'm all for
times.
Nick now. I
Oh,
am
good
team
lord,
Nick.
here we go.
I know Reed's the same way. He's like, "No, why?" But I think Nick is another one that is kind of like not sliding under the radar, but he does slow play a lot of his game. And I don't know, he's very smart. Very smart. Like, I did think it was brilliant that he made a fake idol just to see reactions from people.
Well, maybe, maybe not. Um,
Well, it didn't work out, but
uh, so we're at the final episode. 6 people left. Now the Andy Decker hierarchy on this. This is by no means. First, I'm going to lay this out as of right now, what we have seen on footage. I will lay out where I think they rank as 6. Then I will go into a few details on what I think the strong possibilities are happening. So people be prepared to lose your $1,000,000 tonight, not Wednesday night by me putting you where I put you. Okay, first off, I think Angelina has zero chance of winning. I don't see how it's possible. I don't think it's going to happen. So she is number 6 on my list. Now, she may be in the final 3 in every scenario possible. She is number 6 right now from what we have seen of who has a chance of winning $1,000,000. Number 5 is Dr. Allison. Unfortunately, everyone thinks Dr. Allison is this big, huge threat, and she really hasn't done a lot, and she hasn't done anything. And there's a chance she's going to get voted out because she's a threat. But if she gets to the end, what has she done? I really want anyone to answer that. And we go up to number 4, and it's Mike. And I feel like Mike, he's from LA. He's a writer, producer, movie director, star, all that. So people are not going to vote for him to win the money. Possibly if he's sitting, unless he's sitting with Dr. Allison and Angelina, I don't think Mike can win based on his life. Privileges is what I'll call it, or what he's done with his life. But he does have a fair shot. Now, Kara is number 3. I think Kara has a chance to be in the finals, and I think it's up in the air how it goes. Number 2 is Nick. Probably because I don't want to see Nick win. He should probably be number 1. Nick's made a few subtle moves in the game. I don't think anyone has had every vote correct this season, so that won't be used against him. But Nick has played a solid game. He's gotten there. He's number 2. Number 1 is Davey. I think Davey is more likable than Nick to the jury. I think that he's played a similar game. He's made some bad moves, some good moves. He's done things so they can win. Now, I'm going to say what I think is probably going to most likely happen. In the very next beginning of the episode, Nick or Davey is going to get voted out because there's 4 Goliaths and 2 David. And I know the lines are cut, but on the jury, there's 4 Goliaths and 2 Davids left. So that means there's more Davids on the jury. So hopefully someone can do basic math and just be like, oh, that's why we're not taking them. But anyway, so be it. I think Angelina gets to the end no matter what. I actually want to see Angelina in the final 3 for one major reason. Just how she is. She feels like she's a master negotiator. I'm sure we'll hear something about how she's done public persuasion speaking or something class at Harvard. And I want to hear that. And then what I really want is when they're up there in the weight unless they change the way the final tribal is formatted, where it's a back and forth between them. I want, and you should want this too, Jody, because we know how you feel about Angelina. I want her to get up there and say, I sacrificed for everyone and I negotiated with Jeff and I got us rice to get us to the end, because that is going to get her slapped back by the jury so hard that that's going to be her main argument. And she's not going to be able to take it. Like, she's not going to take the, oh, Angelina, you did that for this moment. She's going to be like, no, I did that. I promise you that's something you want to see. You just don't know it yet, or maybe you do now that I've pointed it out. I think Angelina will be in the final three. I want that moment. We'll see how self-aware she is, if she can be like, you know what, it was for this, but I don't think she is. So there's that. I think Dr. Allie will be number 5 on the vote out. I think after they get rid of Nick or Davey, if Allie will be voted out with 5 people left. Because for some reason everyone sees her as this big threat. Unless Mike can completely wrap his head around the big picture, I think Allie will be number 5. So now we're sitting there with Davey / Nick, one of them out, Allison out. So it's Kara, Mike, Angelina, and either Davey or Nick. At this point, Mike is going to realize that the other member cannot win that final immunity challenge and has to go out. And so it'll come down to that. Now, this is the twist. I believe out of who's left, there's 2 people who are going to win a fire making contest, and it's Davey and Nick. So I think if they let Allison go out at 5, one of them will get picked off. And I mean, one of them will get to make fire, and they'll be either Mike, Kara, or Angelina, which I don't think anyone. I think someone's going to say Angelina's sitting with me at the end, so I think it'll be Mike or Kara getting beat out of fire. So now Davey or Nick is set up to win the game because they're likable, they've made the correct amount of moves, and they're sitting with the right people. I just don't know if it's Davey or Nick. I don't like Nick. I don't like the way he's played. He seems a little more two-faced than they're showing us, so I'm going with Davey. Now, any thoughts, Jody, on all that I just made you unpack?
Sounds juicy, and I hope it works out like that. I really do. Um, and I mean, when you put it that way, when you say that Angelina's going to get her butt handed to her basically for the
Think
jury,
about it. That's her big
I really
point.
do. I hope that that happens.
Are you going to tell me she's not going to say something about that at the end?
Oh, I mean, she's all about that. Was so manipulative on her part that and yes, you're exactly right. I think that she wants a pat on the back for that, and everybody was just like, huh, okay.
I think she's
So,
going to get the opposite of a pat on the back.
oh, absolutely. I hope she does.
And
So,
Angelina, I'm not hating on you like everyone else in the world right now. I just don't think that, based on what I've seen, you're socially aware enough to realize that once someone calls you out on it and says, no, you did that for jury votes and to help your game, you'll be like, oh, yeah, I did. No, I think you're going to keep saying, no, I did it for the best of the tribe. If she can admit it, good for her. I don't think she has the social awareness to do it.
I don't think she does either. Do they watch these?
No, they don't, not yet. I'll tag one of them in it just so they can watch it.
No, not this one for sure. Not
Okay, so what are your thoughts on the final 6? How do you see it going down? You can't agree with me. You have to have something different.
Okay. I disagree with you on Davy.
Yeah,
I think he's coming out of the woodworks. As far as like, I think he's just now starting his game. He's kind of laid low for a little while. Um, but I just don't see people voting for him for that very reason. I think they'll look at him like he's not really done anything. Um, I just think that people would vote for Nick because they know that he has been behind some of these like bigger votes. So
one of
that
them's not going to be there, is what I'm saying,
well, yeah, I'm yes, but I'm thinking Nick is number 1. I think Kara, they're gonna take her. because I mean she's it's either take her or Allison because they've really not done anything. So hopefully the jury can see that. So you always want someone that is your tag along, that is likable, but nobody's going to vote for them. And then you have your number 3, which has no shot of winning. So top 3, I think it's going to be Nick, Kara, and Angelina. Those are my top 3.
So you see, Mike's not going to make it into
No,
the final 3. Okay.
no, I don't think so.
Oh, that's why we're here. Everyone's got to have an opinion, and I've been wrong. I picked Alec to win, and he's sitting on the jury. Now, there's one thing I hope Survivor does. I really don't want to see an idol put back in this final episode. What I want is I want them to do. They get to the final 3, and then they're like, instead of just saying, we'll see you for tribal council, they do the reward challenge, and they give someone the ability to vote someone off the jury. I kind of want to see that again.
Ooh,
I think that would
yeah,
be interesting in this season,
be.
because I think that everyone is going to have, except for Angelina, is going to have someone that they can get rid of to help them win that would help them win the final. Like there now, what would hurt on this, and this is why Survivor may pull it back, is if Christian is on the jury and as vocal and talented as he is, Jeff and them, the producers, everyone may have come to a consensus to be like, nope, not this season, because if they vote out Christian, we'll lose a good jury member that's going to speak well and give us good points.
Right.
So I don't know if it'll happen. I think this would be an interesting one to see it. I wouldn't want to see Christian go out, and I'm sure the producers probably feel the same as me, so we may not. But something like that could be good, because the point of Survivor is there's always something different, and things change a little bit.
All right.
Cool. So basically, Davey, I'm sorry, I'm costing you $1 million. Nick, Jody's picking you, kind of, I guess.
I am.
Hopefully she's costing you $1 million. Dr. Allie, I really want you to win. I didn't say that, knock on wood. Dr. Allie, I do really want you to win, but I don't see how it's possible because I think you haven't made any moves, but there's still time to make moves, so be it. Angelina, good luck. All the Angelina haters out there. Anything you want to say before we go, Jody? Everyone take a long
I'm
look.
looking forward to this next episode. I was shocked that it was the finale. I don't know why, I was just thinking that there was just like still like a couple more episodes. So when they said it was the finale, I was like, whoa, golly. So I feel like the season has kind of flown by, and I feel like it's been, one of the best seasons, like one of the better seasons. I won't say the best, but one of the better seasons. So I've really enjoyed it.
This has been a better season. Unfortunately, I'm going to pop Jody's bubble right now before we go. If Christian comes back, he will not be Cochran, and he would not win. For the simple fact that when Cochran came back, everyone's like, oh, he flipped on his team. He's not that great a player. Christian has shown his ability to be a great player. He talked about it since day one. And if he comes back, I think it'd be interesting to watch. Probably make the merge, but would not win.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I'm okay with that.
Pop that bubble.
Pop.
I've heard things about the next season, and we may talk about that on the finale after they do the reveal. Being Christmas time, I don't know if we'll be on next Sunday or not. We'll try. We'll see how our schedules align and where everyone is and all that. But sometime before January 1st, we'll make it happen.
Absolutely.
Okay, guys. Thank y'all for watching. One more left.
Yep.